Sheikh, Ma'am Norhania A. Sinsat, to our fellow classmates who are listening today. We are here to proudly present our research study entitled Smartphone Usage Management in Academic Performance on Grade 11 Youth Learning. Now, before we delve into our research presentation, allow me to first introduce myself. My name is Ana Maria Cariga.
My name is Christina Joy Esma.
And we are the researchers. The relationship of smartphone usage and student and academic performance has been a topic of interest in recent years. Numerous studies have explored the relationship between smartphone usage and educational outcomes. In our Chapter 1 is the national study. According to Lip et al. 2014, smartphone has had high impact on individuals over the years. Additionally, it has become an increased means for learners to communicate, and specifically, using smartphone these days is becoming a component of the daily routine of the student, and giving up will be nearly impossible to do. In the international study, according to Jean Ingenio Sabio 2018, today's young Filipino are the first generation who are cramped up and surrounded by technology. They are found to be multitasker, screen reader, social media user, and digital gamers. And the reason to conduct this study is deemed conducted to determine the smartphone usage management in academic performance of grade 11 youth students. We believe that by the examining background of this research, we can gain insight into the factor influencing student smartphone usage and the effect on their academic performance. Now, I will give this moment to Ms. Mapait to explain the conceptual framework.
My name is Christina Joy Esma Pait, and I will explain the conceptual framework. The independent variables of the study. The first box is the independent variable covers the smartphone usage, while the second box is the dependent variable includes academic performance 11 young students. The arrow of the first box going to the second box showing the smartphone's usage to 11 young students. Therefore, when you indeed knew the smartphone's usage in 11 young students, especially negative, it could be more easy to have some solution regarding to it.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Joanny Kasim, so I will discuss the statement of the problem or our research. This study aims to determine the smartphone usage management and academic performance of 11 youth learners of Notre Dame Village National High School during the school year 2023-2024. So we have the 3A question. Number 1, what are the effects of smartphone on academic performance of 11 young student respondent in terms of smartphone usage management? Number 2, what is academic performance of grade 11 student respondent during per semester? Number 3, is there a significant relationship between the smartphone usage management and academic performance of 11 young students?
My name is Lizel Jane A. Garcia, so I will discuss the Chapter 2, the review of related literature. The first is smartphone usage management. In 2018, approximately 77% of Americans inhabitants own a smartphone in Pew Research Center 2018. Defined here as a mobile phone that performs many of functions of a computer of Al-Usaimi, Al-Yaya, Al-Shawan, Al-Majijari, and Said 2016.
My name is Mark Angelo V. Kahayag, and I will discuss about scope and delimitation. The study covered the demonstration of the smartphone usage management in academic performance of senior high school students. The primary subject of this research was consist of grade 11 youths enrolled in school year 2023-2024.
In addition, a survey conducted in 2015 showed that 46% of Americans reported that they could not live without their smartphones. Smith 2015. Similar numbers can be observed in other parts of the Western world. OECD 2017. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that in recent years' discussion about the potential consequences of heavy smartphones use have earned an important place in social debates. The second is academic performance. In this section, we review the main theoretical mechanisms. On the one hand, particular functions of smartphones could, when used properly, lead to better educational performance. Smartphones mobility allows students to access the same internet-based services as a computer almost anywhere, almost every time, by Lev Barkley and Karpinski on 2014. The third is relationship between smartphone usage management. Smartphone use among tertiary level students has increased tremendously over the last 2 years. Higher learning institutions need to develop sound strategies to leverage students' smartphones use in order to create a more autonomous learning environment. Although there is some evidence regarding students' use of smartphones in higher education, there is little research on how they have used a smartphone.
I am Haris and Sanday, so I am here to explain our research design. So the type of our research design is causal comparative design. So the population is 207 Humes 11 senior high school students. And sampling method is the simple random sampling Rausoff. Instruction and measure is the self-made questionnaire. So the scale we use here is the Likert scale.
So, Assalamualaikum, my name is Nasrem Abdul Karim, and now I'm gonna discuss the data collection procedure of our research. So the title of this study was firstly proposed to the subject teacher for checking and approval. After the approval of the title of the subject teacher, the researcher secured the necessary approvals from the second principal and a letter to the respondents, specifically to grade 11 gym students of Notre Dame Village National High School. The researcher visited the room of the respondents and then asked the advisor permission to have the list of the student in every section of grade 11 Humes. Also, the researcher administered the survey questionnaire to the respondents. After obtaining the list of name of the students, the researcher used a simple random sampling. They made a box, and the contact of the box were the names of the students, particularly the grade 11 Hume students. As the researcher used simple random sampling, they drew 207 names to become the respondents out of a population of 446. Specifically, all the grade 11 Hume students of Notre Dame Village National High School. The researchers conduct a short briefing with the respondents explaining the purpose and direction of the study. After generating the result of the statistical treatment, the researchers interpreted the data. The interpretation is supported by related literature and studies. The researcher also ensured that there is utmost consideration of research ethics. After the interpretation, the researchers will prepare the manuscript for checking and final defense. After correction from final defense, the researcher will make necessary revisions and prepare the manuscript of binding. So that's all.
So here I am presenting you the chapter 4, the presentation and interpretation of data. So in this chapter deals with presentation and interpretation of the findings of the study. So the statement of the problem here is the extent of smartphone usage management in academic performance of 11 Humes learners. The mean value of the extent of smartphone usage management in academic performance of 11 Humes learners. So we have the statements here. Number 1 is getting up at night to check a phone. Number 2 is having too much time using a phone. Number 3 is feeling drowsy while in the classroom due to much screen time. So number 4 is being inattentive in class and thinking about your phone. And the last one, number 5, is the late submission of tasks because of having of too much time in playing online games. So we have the range of mean here, which is the 3.25 to 4.4, which is known as always. So the number 2 range here is 2.50 to 3.24, which means is often. And number 3 is the 1.0 to 1.49, which means is the sometimes, and the 0 is never. So the mean in the getting up night to check a phone is 3.21, which mean is always. So having too much time using a phone, the mean is the 3.38, which mean is often. So the number 3 is being drowsy while in the classroom due to much screen time, which known is 2.80, and the range of mean is sometimes. Being inattentive in class and thinking about your phone, the range is 2.66, which mean is sometimes. And the last one is the late submission of tasks because having of too much time in playing online games is 2.71, which is known as never. So we calculate all of the mean, and the result is 3.20, which is always, known as having too much time using a phone.
Good afternoon, I am Ramadan Al-Andong. I am hereby to present the Chapter 5 of our research paper. This chapter contains summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations. This chapter presents the summary of the study, the presentation and formulation of the findings, recommendation derived, and interpretation of the data. Summary of findings. The following are the major findings of the study. The smartphone usage management of grade 11 UM students was rated often with the mean 2.95. Thus, the hypothesis there is no significant relationship between the smartphone usage management and academic performance of grade 11 UM students is accepted. Now we go with the conclusions. Based on the findings of the study, it is concluded that students does not using smartphones as facilitator in terms of their schoolworks, but in other unimportant things. Also, the students do not have a proper management of using smartphone due to they are wasting much time on it. Smartphones does not helping students in their academic performance at all. And now we proceed to the recommendation. This study presents the smartphone usage management and academic performance of grade 11 UM students of Notre Dame Village National High School. Thus, the following recommendations are hereby presented. Based on the result of the findings of the study, the researchers recommend that smartphones are not totally helpful for grade 11 UM students as they have mismanagement of how they use it. To those students who are struggling with homework, reading comprehension, reports, etc., smartphone is the perfect thing to use. It can be utilized to search on web how to get and done those better. For sure, it can help in their academic performance if they just utilize it properly. However, the above result shows that students prefer to use smartphone for fun, entertainment, online gaming, etc., rather than to use it to help them with their academic performance. Recommendations for further studies. Future researchers may focus on the positive effects of smartphones in terms of their learning and academic performance.
This is our references and photo documentation. And now we will proceed to the questions and answers portion.
Why did you choose this study?
So we chose this study because we observed in Notre Dame Village National High School, grade 11 senior high school students that they are focusing on their smartphones during their class and being inattentive and not doing chores in their homes. They're playing only in their phones, focusing in their phones, and they cannot handle well their studies. So we choose this to learn the survey and know their habits in everyday in their home or in their school.
What phenomenon were you trying to understand with this research?
As our title itself, we were trying to understand the relationship between smartphone usage management and academic performance among grade 11 UMS students.
What source did you use for data collection?
So the source that we use on data collection is to survey the grade 11 students who use the smartphones.
What is the strongest point in your research?
The strongest point in our research lies in the true examination of the impact of smartphone usage management strategies on the 11 young students by employing a combination of quantitative analysis and qualitative insights. We are able to elucidate clear correlations and provide actionable recommendations for effective smartphone usage management strategies to enhance academic outcomes among this demographic.
Did you experience any limitation in your research?
Yes, we've been experiencing limitations of our research. Just like to our respondents, we can only get respondents in UM strand, not in other strands. So we can only give some questionnaire to UM students, and also we have this specific place to conduct our research, which is to Notre Dame Village National High School, and not in other school or in other place, but only in the VNHS.